Hi guys, how are you all doing? This is the tennis world with the tennis expert. I am your tennis expert. This is your Wimbledon final preview 2024 Alcaraz Djokovic, just like I predicted. So a nice warm welcome to my viewers right around the world. Once again, this is the tennis world with the tennis expert. Don't forget to subscribe, please. But let's get into this preview. Firstly, I want to say if you visit my channel often or you're new or whatever it is, this is the place to come to for all the tennis news and information because I have just predicted both semifinals correctly. If you look at my semifinal preview, you can go back and see it. I said it would be Alcaraz over Medvedev in 4 sets, and I've got that one right. I also said it would be Djokovic over Musetti in straight sets. So Alcaraz over Medvedev in 4, I got that right. Not just the winner, but the amount of sets, and Djokovic over Musetti in straight sets. I got both right, and according to the actual sets that they won by. Just a quick look back at those matches for only a minute, because we're just about to get into this final. Medvedev had this, like I said, the reason why it was 4 sets and the reason why I said that was because Medvedev, what he did to Alcaraz at the US Open last year, rally from more aggressive perspective, make his game more like Djokovic, have the ball deep, take Alcaraz's time away, rush Alcaraz. And the fact that he did that at the US Open last year and beat him in 4 sets, and the fact that he just did that to Sinner and beat him, I felt pretty sure he was going to bring that level. And if Alcaraz was a bit off, he would have won again. And that's what we saw in the first set. We saw in the first set Medvedev playing his elite level and realizing Alcaraz has enough power to get for his defense, so you got to attack. And then rushing Alcaraz and hitting it deep and all of this sort of stuff. And then Alcaraz was him doing that at his best while Alcaraz was a bit off. He's the better player, same as the US Open. But the difference is that was only 1 set. Alcaraz then plays his best and says, I'm also going to attack a lot. And when Alcaraz and Medvedev are playing their best or close to their best, Alcaraz is a better player because then now they're both fighting for control of the point. They both want to be aggressive. But Alcaraz can match him if it's backhand to backhand, but then forehand is way more power. So overall, he has way more power to get control of the points. And even if he can't get control of the points, he's got a drop shot. He can come into the net and finish points. He's got all these touch shots. So he's got the power to get past Medvedev and the drop shots. And that's what we saw. Like him stepping up at that level, he can match Medvedev on the defense, but more offense, and then the drop shots and the touch shots. But Medvedev being a lot better than he's been in some of their matches and bringing that US Open level where he got the win, but Alcaraz also bringing his best and overall having too much. So I said 4 sets. And then Musetti, even if Djokovic is not his best this year and maybe recovering from an injury, he's not as good as what Alcaraz faced. He's not as good as a Medvedev. So it should be easier than if Djokovic is anything near Alcaraz's level, he's got an easier match, so he should win it more easily. And this is not enough to really challenge him. So straight sets for Djokovic. And like I said, he's a clay quarter. Djokovic can control the point, rush him on the forehand, take his time away and get control of the point. Straight sets, all that happened. So the match has panned out exactly the way I said and the style of play and all of that stuff. So now let's get into the final. Let's preview this Wimbledon final 2024. Novak Djokovic of Serbia, Carlos Alcaraz of Spain. So what I'm seeing is, right, we went into last year's final and it was such a different situation because like Alcaraz, he grew up playing mostly on clay, but played a lot on hard court. He never saw a grass court. This was like his 4th grass court event. So he's coming in there like, okay, maybe I'm a great player now, and so is Djokovic, and we have this kind of a rivalry. But I've only played on hard court and clay, really. Like, this is my 4th time on grass. You've won 3 Wimbledon, so like, I don't really have a chance. But I'm just going to go with the nothing to lose attitude. Whereas Djokovic is like, I've dominated. I've been the best. I've been there with the big 3, but Federer and Nadal are not really there anymore, and I'm playing this weak generation. So now this new guy's coming up to threaten me. So he feels like the pressure to sort of like Can this guy, am I going to stop this guy taking it from me? And if he beats me, then he's just going to get better as he moves to his prime. I'm going to get older. It could be all over for me. So there's a lot of like pressure to sort of stop this new challenger and just to keep the status quo. Whereas Alcaraz is just like, look what he's done. I've got nothing to lose, but I believe at the same time. But he had the most nothing to lose at Wimbledon. Fast forward a year now to 2024 and the rematch. Now, firstly, what we have is Djokovic in this year has not won a tournament, has not even been into a final. This is his first final. Secondly, he's come off surgery and an injury, and even if he's recovered, he's not had proper preparation. So the first question is Djokovic recovered fully? And if he's not, then it's not, I'm playing Alcaraz at this high level and you're not 100% healthy. At the very least, it's affected his preparation. So that gives you the nothing to lose attitude. You can kind of just say, like, now, I've just come off an injury anyway, so a Wimbledon final is a good result. I didn't really have a good preparation. But then even if he goes back to the pre-injury Djokovic, the first half of this year, Djokovic, when he was healthy and didn't have an injury, wasn't even in the final. So firstly, is he still injured or has it affected his preparation? Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's a big negative for Djokovic in this matchup. Do you get what I'm saying? But then even if he has fully recovered and it's not affected him at all, the Djokovic before this injury wasn't even making a final, was losing to players who were not even that good. And then even if he could somehow go all the way back to where he was last year, where he won 3 of the 4 Grand Slams, he won the top 8 or the World Tour Finals or whatever we want to call it. He was 1 set away from winning all the 4 Grand Slams and the top 8, but still even in that level, Alcaraz beat him. So even if he could go all the way back to then, Alcaraz was still better. And if you could even improve on that, do you get what I'm trying to say? If you could improve on that, that would have beat Alcaraz last year. Well, Alcaraz has improved. He's better now. So it might, if he was good, if he can get a level that was good enough to beat Alcaraz a year ago, it might not even work because Alcaraz, that's the situation. And just think about the two different, like 3 weeks before this Wimbledon, like Alcaraz was winning a Grand Slam. So Djokovic was like on crutches coming out of surgery. Like that's like a massive difference compared to like last year where he's just getting used to grass. Djokovic is won it 7 times, won it at least 4 years or something in a row leading up to that. But now it's like Djokovic has he recovered from surgery? Did it affect his preparation? Even if he recovers, before he wasn't even good enough to even beat lower ranked players most of this year. And then even last year when he was dominating and so much better than this year, he still lost. So Djokovic has this huge underdog, whereas Alcaraz can say, well, Djokovic is not that good this year like last year, but last year when he only lost 1 match at a Grand Slam, I still beat him here. And I think that I'm better than that now. But how all this affects the mental state of the game, now Djokovic has a nothing to lose attitude. He can just feel like, well, I was injured or I didn't fully recover. I didn't have proper preparation, but it's good to make a final. But if I win, it's like this amazing success story. You have a bad year, you have a surgery. Even if you recover, you're just back to where you were when you were losing before the surgery, Djokovic. And then you come back from all of that and you're able to reverse a result of last year that you lost when you're at your best. Like that's like amazing success story. But if he doesn't win, it's still good. Like the bad year that he's had, the surgery, still making the final, making a match of it. It's a great success story. So it's great if he loses, but it's even better if he wins. There's no pressure at all. But for Alcaraz, like you won last year. You're better now. You should have to do it again. And Djokovic is coming off surgery. He's not even as good as he was last year. So, of course, if you beat last year's Djokovic, you should beat this year's Djokovic. But then that's a lot of pressure for someone like Alcaraz, playing someone who's won 24 Grand Slams, who's won this 7 times, to say, like, if you win, it's just normal. And if you lose, it's like a disappointment. So that'll create a lot of pressure. Now Alcaraz is the one expected to win. And Djokovic, after all he's done, how great he is in Grand Slam final, all the experience, he's very rarely in a situation where he can just go in like, I've got nothing to lose. Like how often do we see Djokovic in that situation? So everything favors Alcaraz and is against Djokovic, except for this. Alcaraz is now expected to beat someone who's won 24 Grand Slams and won 7 Wimbledons. And if he doesn't, it's a disappointment. Whereas Djokovic is like, if he loses, that's still good after everything he's been through. But if he wins, it's like an amazing success story. So as opposed to last year, Djokovic was expected to win. Alcaraz has barely played on grass. So everything's changed. Alcaraz is the favorite. Djokovic is the underdog. So that could maybe free up Djokovic, like a guy who's used to winning, who does well, who's used to being under pressure and being the favorite, but then to not have that and to be free, to have all the experience and confidence of 24 Grand Slams, but to play now for once without the pressure, you could be like so much better than you've ever been. Whereas a young guy saying, if you beat Djokovic, it's normal. If you don't, it's a disappointment. That's the sort of thing that's going to come in this match. Now, as far as tactics, the way I look at it is like Djokovic has been great defensively in his career, right? But Alcaraz is like Djokovic older now with the surgery. Even this year before the surgery, has been much slower. Alcaraz is way faster than him. So how can Djokovic beat a guy who's faster, like Demon or someone like that? He can beat him by being like more offensive, like being a more offensive player. But the problem is Alcaraz matches him on the power on the backhand, has way more power than him on the forehand, has things like drop shots, has better net play than Djokovic. So to say, I'm going to beat you because you're younger and you're way faster than me now, and I'm coming off surgery and I'm older, so I'm going to do it by being better offensively. But this guy has more power, more net play, better touch shots with drop shots. So for Djokovic to say, I have to be way better offensively because you're faster than me, against Alcaraz's power, touch shots, drop shots, that's going to be a very difficult thing. What I think is going to, and then another thing is, it's a similar of the Nadal-Djokovic matchups on fast courts, where Nadal against Djokovic, biggest shot on the court was his forehand, but Djokovic had a very good backhand and forehand, and he went through the faster court and rushed Nadal on the forehand. That's a tactic that he can use. But like, if you go back to like last year, the thing of it is Alcaraz's backhand is much better than Nadal, and it's almost as good as Djokovic. And then he has a forehand that's bigger, and then he has a better drop shot and net play than someone like. But that's definitely a tactic for Djokovic. Go through the court fast and deep. Djokovic returns well, so does Alcaraz. But I just think, like last year, they matched each other on the speed and defense, and Alcaraz was just a bit better offensively. But now I think he's going to be better offensively and defensively. And I just think he's in a better position. It's just like the mental, with him expected to win, and then Djokovic with a weight off his shoulder, nothing to lose. Like, how is that going to affect the game? And then Djokovic, I think what he's going to have to do is serve very well, start the points ahead, control Alcaraz off the serve and move him around, and then go into the forehand, take his time away and rush him. And then on Alcaraz's second serve, he's going to want to be attacking the ball deep and then putting Alcaraz on defense and then controlling the point from there, attack Alcaraz's second serve. That's going to be, he's going to have to like take away the fact like his defense is not what it was by being aggressive and by doing it like that. It's going to be very hard to outgun Djokovic, to outgun Alcaraz offensively because he's slower now. But for Alcaraz, I think like he's going to feel like he's the faster player. He's got a big advantage. He knows that Djokovic is going to have to make up for that by being way more offensive. And I think he feels like he can at least hold his own or being better offensively. I feel like he can match him backhand to backhand, forehand. His forehand's way better than Djokovic, and drop shots and volleys and all of these things. So I just think he's going to feel good. It's just about, can he handle the pressure? I think he can. I think like this whole tournament at the French Open, he was expected to win. Lately, he's been expected to win, and he's just been winning. I think he's playing well. And I think the thing about Djokovic is like leg, if it's 100% or not, but someone who hammers the ball so hard right to left, you're going to have to push off the knee and move so fast and hard right to left. That's going to kill. If it's even 99%, will cause a problem. Then the fact that Alcaraz has the best drop shots, that's going to force you to run. So a guy who hammers it hard right to left and you're changing direction fast and hard, bad for any problem on the leg. And then a guy great at drop shots, forcing you to run forward like really fast and hard. This would test out Djokovic's like knee. And if it's 99%, it's going to be a problem. Like, for example, in the 2021 French Open, we saw Nadal who had a foot injury and he wouldn't play 6 months after that. But he was good enough to beat all these guys that are not close to his level. He made the semifinal, but it was only when two guys were playing at elite level. When he played Djokovic in that semifinal, you could see that him being 80 or 90% of himself, he looked bad out there. But against everybody else, it was good enough. Djokovic won Australian Open 2023, 2021 with an injury both times, but like he wasn't tested by someone closer to his level. But when it's two guys at that very elite level and one little thing here and there, you can look bad if your health is even 90 or 95%. So I think if there is any problem, it's really going to show up. But I just think when you add all this together, Alcaraz won last year. The fact is Alcaraz is a better player right now. The fact is Djokovic, and just that alone, should improve the 5-set victory to be a 4-set victory. But then the fact that Djokovic is not as good too, and Djokovic is unlikely to produce that level that he did last year, you'd think that would make straight sets. But I'm not going to say straight sets because I just think Djokovic being the underdog, Djokovic being pumped up to like prove people wrong, being in a Grand Slam final with like nothing to lose, is going to bring the best out of him. So it'll be enough for him to push Alcaraz into a tough 4-setter. But I don't think you can't say that Alcaraz isn't better and Djokovic isn't worse from a year ago. So to repeat the same 5 sets again, I don't think so, because I don't see Djokovic producing that level again, and I see Alcaraz at least that level or better. So Djokovic has to have an improvement. I mean, Alcaraz has to have an improvement on the scoreboard. So that's why I'm going to say Carlos Alcaraz will win this Wimbledon final in 4 sets. And like I said, he's better defensively. Djokovic has to be way better offensively. And that just won't happen because Alcaraz can match him on the backhand. He's got more power on the forehand, better drop shots, and better volleys. And Djokovic can't just be equal on the offense. He has to be better because Alcaraz will be better defensively. But again, the underdog tag, all the pressure on Alcaraz, that could cause him to lose a set just by nerves. And Djokovic being better without the pressure, it'll be 4 sets. But definitely Alcaraz is going to be better than last year, and definitely Djokovic won't be as good, so it'll be hard to repeat this one and to go to 5 sets. But I'm going to say Carlos Alcaraz wins this one. I mean, we're going to expect a lot of long rallies, and in those long rallies, the fact that Djokovic can't move as much as him, and he's turning defense into attack more, and then offensively, Djokovic is going to need to be in control of most of the rallies, so he's not on defense as much, but Alcaraz just won't allow that. And Djokovic is going to try to like control off the serve and hit the ball deep and go into Alcaraz's forehand and rush him and all these sort of things. But I think Alcaraz himself is going to say, well, you might attack. And then Djokovic attacks his second serve, gets it deep and gets control of the rally. Alcaraz is going to try to do the same, attack Djokovic's second serve. Djokovic serve and attack with the next shot after the serve. Alcaraz serve plus forehand. Djokovic can get some returns deep to take away the serve plus forehand. Alcaraz can also do that. But then just a bit more power, a bit better drop shots and being faster. And then I think him attacking early in the rally will limit the fact when Djokovic will try to do what he does to Nadal on fast courts, fast through the court, rush Alcaraz on the forehand. But because Alcaraz has got a better serve than Nadal, a better attacking return of the second serve, he's going to start ahead. So like to go through the court faster and rush someone on the forehand, you need to be in control in an attacking position. But Alcaraz is going to try to attack from the very beginning of the point. Whereas when we see Djokovic, Nadal is, wants to slowly build in a rally. Djokovic wants to more attack behind the return or the serve. But Alcaraz like Djokovic, is wanting to attack from the beginning too. So it's going to limit the chances. And because Alcaraz has a better backhand, he's going to hit the backhand hard to cause a block defensive shot by Djokovic, and then he can dominate from the forehand again taking the ability where Djokovic tries to do what he does to Nadal, go into the backhand or go deep in the forehand and take his time away and take the forehand out of play. Alcaraz is going to respond by going for more on the backhand, but just enough to get a short ball the next ball to then dictate with the forehand after that. And I just think he's going to answer everything that Djokovic does. When Djokovic does drop shots to try to shorten points, Alcaraz will be faster to get up there. He'll be better than him at the net, and he'll have more power from the back of the court, and he'll be faster, and he'll be better than he was in the final last year. But Djokovic, with the surgery, with the fact that even before the injury won't be as good, and there'll be an improvement on the scoreboard, all those same things. And the improvement will be 4 sets, Carlos Alcaraz. But with Djokovic, with Alcaraz being a bit nervous with the pressure being expected to win, and Djokovic nothing to lose, it's still going to be enough to push it into a tough 4-setter. But Djokovic is not able to control the points enough and be the better offensive player, which he needs to make up to the fact that Alcaraz is faster than him. He'll either be just as good, in which case Alcaraz wins because he's faster and better defensively, or Alcaraz will be better offensively and then better defensively. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is and then Alcaraz will be able to physically last for hours. Djokovic, that's a bit uncertain too, I would say. So again, the endurance, the speed, the offense, I just see in all areas. Maybe the only thing is Djokovic a bit better on the serve, a bit better on the return of serve, maybe hitting it deep. But I just think Alcaraz will not allow Djokovic to be better offensively to control these points. So he'll either make it I'm equal to you and I'm winning because of my speed and defense, or I'm better than you offensively and then I'm also faster and better defensively. And he'll improve off last year. Djokovic will go down a bit, and Alcaraz is taking this Wimbledon final in 4 sets. And really, I just think he's able to return similar to Djokovic, serve similar. He's faster, and he'll be at least as good offensively, maybe a bit better. And but Djokovic won't give it up easy. We'll get a set and the nerves, but in the end, Alcaraz will definitely have to be better than last year, and Djokovic not as good, so he has to improve on the score line. But Djokovic has too much pride, and with the nerves of Alcaraz, can't let it be straight sets. So 4 sets, Carlos Alcaraz, and Carlos Alcaraz is your 2024 Wimbledon final champion. This is going to be like a big thing if he does it, which is again going to cause the nerves, but I'd say he gets over the nerves and wins this, because when you're at 21 and you've won 3 Grand Slams on all surfaces, which is what he's already done, Nadal at the same age had 3. Djokovic had 1 at this age. Federer and Sampras had none. So to already do that, but equal with Nadal with 3 Grand Slams ahead of Djokovic, Federer, and Sampras, but Nadal had 3 at the French Open. He's got 3 on all surfaces. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then to add to the 3 Grand Slams on all 3 surfaces, which is better than Nadal winning the French Open 3 times, to now say in addition to that, I've won my first Wimbledon at 20 and I've defended that title at 21 and beat Djokovic 2 years in a row. That's a big thing. And if he does this is going to be huge. The nerves will be there again to try to do that. But I just think he's better than last year. He'll handle the nerves and he'll achieve this. And Djokovic isn't as good. So he'll improve, and 4 sets. Carlos Alcaraz, he'll be your 2024 Wimbledon champion. Guys, in a few days, I'm going to come back and I'm going to review this final. I'm going to say what Alcaraz victory means, or if I'm wrong, what Djokovic did to switch up and to do this surprise and reverse what happened last year. I will talk about that. So please come back. Come back, guys, in a few days as I review the Wimbledon tournament, but specifically focus on this Wimbledon final after watching it. So subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up, but please watch this final and come back and hear my review and hear me talk about what this means for the history of tennis. And I just think one more closing thing I'll say is, I just think when you got guys of different generations like this, Later, when Alcaraz controls, he might have the same Grand Slams as Djokovic. And everyone's going to want to look back and say, what happened when these two guys played? Who won? So I think we're just going to have a small sample size. And these are the matches. And it could be the two guys with the best records. And we want to go back and watch in 20 years and see what happens. This could matter a lot for the history of the game. We only have a short amount of matches. So it's very important. And of course, because Djokovic has the most Grand Slams, we want to see of the big three him play him. So it's going to be important for the history of the game. But my prediction, Alcaraz in 4 sets, and he'll be your champion. But come back and let me review this, subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. See you guys for my final review in a few days. And bye for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, guys. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the match. See you guys for my review in a few days. Bye for now. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now. Subscribe. Be back for my review of the final. Bye for now, guys.